Tron Ares, directed by Joachim Ronning, written by Steven Lisberger, Bonnie McBird, David DeHelio, and Jesse Wigato. Okay, this movie is a return to the grid ever since Tron Legacy. The protagonist of the story is Jared Leto, and he plays his character Ares to a good degree. I think this is Jared Leto at not his best, but definitely in a performance that I would say was fun for him. It seems so. I would say he should be proud of it. It's a subtle little thing. He plays this superhuman AI, basically the best of the best, right? Like if you told ChatGPT to give me the best AI ever, ChatGPT will spit this guy out, right? This guy is essentially the personification of the best cybersecurity you can possibly think of. And he's initially brought up by this company called Dillinger. And the whole film is basically, these two corporations fighting for what they call the permanence code. Essentially, whatever is you could think of digitally, you can make into reality, right? Sometimes throughout the film, there's this thing where like anything digital coming into the real world has a timer on it, kind of like a time bomb, right? Like they could only be here for, let's say, 20 or so minutes, and then they're gone. They go back to the grid, right? So what the permanence code does is it gives whoever holds the code, the master key, right, the ability to have whatever they want. They can make whatever they want, anything. They could bring whatever they want from the grid and have it permanently here in the real world. So the company Dillinger is trying to use it for its own, own evil reasons, and it's led by Evan Peters' character, right, who's taken over the company. He's also a Dillinger. And now on the other end of the spectrum, we have Encom, who in their own way is also in the race of the permanence code. And our protagonist is caught in the middle of this huge corporation fight for the next best thing, which is pretty realistic in a sense where all of these guys are always fighting for the next best technology and they're trying to always one up each other. But whoever gets their hands on this, it's like if Dell got their hands on AI 100 years before anyone else did, right? That's how improving and that's how important getting this permanence code is, right? Because then you can make stuff like livestock, you can make stuff like unlimited medicine. So it's a huge thing. So right away, I tried not to, but I did hear a lot of like chatter about Tron Ares before going in. I heard it's been a week out now, and I've heard a lot of things where it's like, oh, it's not good, it's pichikaka, no bueno, right? Dude, I'm watching this film. I'm an hour in, right? And I'm enjoying the crap out of this movie. Like I'm serious. I'm thinking in my head like okay, I'm an hour in, guys. Like I don't know what you guys are talking about because I'm actually really, really enjoying this film. I'm really enjoying this film, and it's really rare, right, for me to feel chills in sequences in a film or in a show. But I felt it in this movie, and maybe it's because like it's like the the film nerd in me, where like I was sitting in the theater and the soundtrack is hitting, and it's hitting hard because it's really well made. Nine Inch Nails following up Daft Punk's amazing soundtrack. I say amazing, but honestly, that's an understatement. It's one of my favorite ever for Tron Legacy, right? And yeah, they followed it up good. They followed it up to a T. I really believe so because it complements the film so well. The action scenes, it complements them so well. And yeah, and everyone's talking about the visuals and everyone's talking about the soundtrack. And yeah, those hit. Let me cut right in. I have a special announcement to make. Of course, just like the title said. And before I make the announcement, I just need to let you all know how grateful I am for all the support, all of the views. I understand I'm very, sporadic with when I drop and how often I drop. And I do apologize for that. It's been a hectic ride. I've just finished my college semester, and especially this last semester, it was a lot. But anyways, I don't want to give an excuse. It's just I am very grateful. If you've stuck with me, throughout all of this, I am very grateful. And the announcement I want to make is I released an album. I released an instrumental album And why this video? Why did you choose to drop the announcement in this video? Well, it's because the Tron film, specifically Tron Legacy, is a soundtrack and is a musical journey that I fell in love with, as a teenager, right? I would always play it. And even to this day, I will always play it. Whether I'm doing homework, whether I'm driving in the car. It's just, I mean, if you've seen Tron Legacy, you just know what it does to you, right? And how much it adds to the film. And it inspired me. It inspired me listening to it years ago. It inspired me to create music of my own. And at that time, I only had access to a digital audio workspace. I didn't have access to streaming. I didn't have money for that, streaming music or anything like that. And this was about a time where I had just gotten out of high school. I decided I wanted to create music for my own, for myself, and I did. And eventually I got Logic Pro, and eventually I could add to those compositions, and I could add even more and create more, right? But really, it started off with just me wanting to hear music that I really like, right? So, me saying that, I invite you to check it out. Me being a huge fan of Daft Punk's Tron Legacy soundtrack, this is very inspired by that. So, please check it out. If you're a fan of instrumental soundtracks, if you're a fan of that Tron Legacy feel, I really think you might enjoy this one, right? And I will be playing parts of it at the end of videos. I will have the link in the description. The album title is called Neon, and my artist name is YV. But yeah, thank you so much for your support. Thank you so much to Daft Punk for just inspiring me so much, to my family as well. Let's go back to the review. There's some stuff is really imaginative too. Like, there's a sequence where someone is hacking into a huge corporation, and we see the way that they did that is they visualized it, right? Like, as a hacker is putting in all the code and everything, we have the visualization of all of these digitized soldiers trying to break into a fortified digital case, right? Like a fortified digital world. And essentially, like in the real world, oh, it's just a guy hacking. But it was creative to show that if you zoom in microscopic digital level, it's Ares and his gang trying to break in to, without spoiling, it's trying to break into this thing and having to fight a whole army in order to do it. That was cool. But okay, let's talk about Ares, man. Like, I really liked him. I liked him more than the protagonist that we had in the last film. Honestly, I did. I thought Jared Leto did a good job. I thought he gave a solid. I would say solid, and I think that's a good word for it. It wasn't award winning. It wasn't crazy or great, but it was a solid performance. There was a lot of interviews of him saying he's been a big fan of Tron. That to him it's like Star Wars, and to a lot of people it was. It was like one of the first films, if not the first film, to include CGI. Right, the original Tron was the one that came out with CGI for the first time in film. So yeah, it's a passion project, and he plays this AI really well. I really enjoyed the character of Ares. I think what he does better than what Sam Flynn does, and what writing wise, what they gave him was a lot of conflict for him to deal with throughout, right? Because the thing with him is, as an AI, he's given a directive, right? As an AI, you're expected to be tunnel visioned and just execute whatever you've been told. But because he's super advanced, and it's something that they've played with before in sci-fi, he starts gaining his own perspective of things. And that's where the conflict comes in. And that's where I think it works really well for this film and for his character. However, what the previous film had better than in this one was character dynamics. There wasn't anything as strong as in this film as there was in the last one. That father son dynamic between Sam and Flynn in Legacy, that's really what held the film together. Especially that ending, adding that little emotional tone, right? And I would say the supporting cast here is pretty mediocre. And not because of the casting themselves. These guys are great actors, Evan Peters and everyone. But the writing for them felt eh, and some of them even poor. Some of them had really no reason to be in the film. The greatest supporting cast in this film were the visuals. amazing, amazing visuals. There was some really creative stuff. I kept on turning to my friend who I was watching it with, and I was like, dude, that was awesome. And yeah, in one sequence I did get chills because of all the music and the usage of slow motion. I was a big fan. There's some slow mo shots in this film. I was like, damn, like I don't even know, that looks so like real. Like I'm geeking out about it because I did love the Tron Legacy, the the previous film, right? And I love the soundtrack, and really that's what got me hooked, and the world building. In this film, we don't stay as much in the grid as I wish, so therefore the world building for it is not that it's not as strong, right? But in this film, what they do a lot is they bring the grid to the real world. And although that kind of dulls down any like imaginative set or setting and atmospheric sense, the music and its consistency throughout the film really helps out in keeping, the that digital world tone. And oh man, I was so locked in for this, man. So locked in. Even the entry sequence is like Ares being programmed to just learn how to fight, right? And even that little 30-second snippet, that got me so excited. Yeah, if you like the last one, I think you like this one. It's great, right? Great stuff. Just not as strong, I would say, dynamics. And because of that, the relationships between people, you don't really feel it. You don't feel it. Overall, really entertaining film, guys. The visuals and soundtrack are at an all-time high. I really love them. I don't think it's as strong as Daft Punk's, and I don't think it's as listenable on its own as Daft Punk's, but that's just me. Yeah, I'm feeling a flat B on this one. I'm now going to get to the parental advisory section, so spoilers up ahead, okay? Just a heads up. So, this is the first Tron film to be rated PG-13. It's not much different from the old ones, but I believe the reason why it is rated PG-13, the main reason is because the violence is the same as in Tron Legacy. There's violence where there's a lot of disc wars, people in the digital world going after each other, de-resing each other. And in this film, I would say it's more graphic in the sense where it actually shows the de-resolution in a more graphic way, especially when the timer goes off. It just comes off as graphic, maybe a bit too graphic for little kids, but it doesn't show any blood. And in the trailer, you can see the de-resolution in real life. But really, the main reason why it's rated PG-13, from what I remember and from what I understand, is because there is a character death at the very end of the film where they basically get stabbed and then they die, right? There's also not much strong language. If there is any, it's really rare. It's really rare. A lot of chase sequences, action, stylized. That's pretty much it, to be honest. I would say that's pretty much it. No sex, no kissing. So, guys, let me know what you thought about Tron Ares. Would you guys prefer the Daft Punk soundtrack or this Nine Inch Nails soundtrack? What did you think of the movie? What did you think of Ares? I think he's an interesting character. I wish they would have delved deeper into him and that change, but let me know what you thought about it. So, guys, please have a blessed day. I'll catch you guys next time. Bye bye.